Thank you very much, ma'am. So, ma'am, my question is that we live in Kali Yuga, right? It is bound, as projected, it will get more materialistic, and the world around us will become more materialistic. So, how do you deal with a materialistic world while keeping principles of spiritualism and spirituality in your mind when you know that everyone around you or the society in general will continue to grow into a more materialistic world and everything will be about materialism at one point and then it's bound to get worse. So how do you deal with your inner demons? How do you deal with the demons outside and while keeping yourself, your calm and everything with yourself?
Beautiful question. Beautiful, beautiful question. So we have a wonderful answer to this every day. Every day night comes. We know it's going to come. It's going to come shortly. We see it start to come. We know it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. But we don't stop living and say, oh my God, night's going to come. Okay, I guess I can't do anything now. I guess I should just sit here in the dark. And even I was in Iceland a couple of years ago where we were there in the summer when they had almost no night. But if you go there now, they've got like 2-3 hours maximum of daylight a day. But that doesn't mean that people in Iceland or in, the north of Sweden or Norway or Scandinavia or northern Canada or all of those places, doesn't mean that they spend 21 hours a day just sitting going, oh my God, this is awful, it's dark. Boy, I wish it weren't dark. Boy, I wish it were light. They figure out ways. Even long before we had electricity, people had kerosene lamps, they had candles. People have found ways to make light in the darkness. Yes, it's dark outside, but we're able to be in the light. We're able to use the light. We're able to accomplish so much, even in the midst of darkness. And our light can bring light to others. You walk out with a flashlight. These days we all have it on our mobiles anyway. How many times have you turned on the flashlight on your mobile to show somebody else the path? So yeah, Kali Yuga is an age of darkness. We're seeing it. Like we're seeing night be about to fall. But that doesn't mean that we have to give in to either. It's the nature of nature. Like days, like seasons change. Sometimes there's more light, sometimes there's less light. But we adjust and we adapt to it. It's not a meaning for us to give up or give in. So just like we live in the darkness of night, we live in the darkness of Kali Yuga. The difference is that the darkness of Kali Yuga is not just about the sun, it's darkness in our minds, which means that we need to bring light not only outside of us, but we need to begin by bringing light in our mind. And this is where our spiritual practice is so important. You mentioned our inner demons, which is so important. Think of them instead of demons. Think of them just as ignorance and patterns. There's nothing evil in you. All there is ignorance in you. And there's probably voices in your head that you've internalized from things that you've heard outside. They began as outside voices. Maybe you actually heard somebody say it, a parent, a relative, a teacher. Or maybe you just picked it up from culture, from TV, from social media. But you've taken it from outside and you've brought it inside. And now it's a voice inside your head that says, you are like this, you are like that, you're not going to be anything, you're this. Until and unless you have this much, you're worthless. You've internalized it. But it's just ignorance. See it as the ignorance that it is. Because ignorance can always be dispelled with wisdom. And that's why we focus on study the scriptures, read a line, if not a chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, or any scripture that inspires you every day. Read about the lives of the masters. And again, it can be religious leaders. It can be figures like Gandhi, like Martin Luther King, like Nelson Mandela, like Archbishop Tutu, like St. Francis of Assisi. It doesn't have to be necessarily from a religious text. But find inspiration, light. Because the light that they have is a light that will burn in you. And as you start to realize who you are, the Bhagavad Gita is my favorite for this. It dispels any and every misconception that we have. And as you start to realize who you are, that light of gyan comes, of wisdom. And it automatically removes those demons of ignorance, the demons of ego. And once you have that light inside, then you're able to live with love, to live with compassion, and to bring that light then to the world. And that's the great power we have, no matter how dark the night is, or no matter how dark the day may be in certain parts of the world. We have the ability to create light. And no matter how dark Kali Yuga may be, we have the ability to create and to share wisdom and spirituality and depth, that light. But we have to do it. Just sitting around isn't going to make it happen. You've got to light the candle. You've got to light the lamp. And then you take it and you use it to light others. Okay.
Thank you.
Beautiful.